If you want to use a node in n8n such as Google Drive, Gmail, Sheets, or Documents, or in general, any node that is using the Google API in the background, then you need to set up a few things in your Google Cloud Console. And the first step is to create a project. I have already created one before, but it's super easy to create one. You just have to click on the project picker, which is here on the top left, and then click on new project, set here name, click on create, and that's it. In case you have already a project, then you can also use this one. And the next step is to create a OAuth2 client and also to configure the consent screen. And you can find it under APIs and services. And in case you don't have the card here, then you can also go to the burger menu on the top left. And then under APIs and services, under credentials, you will find any credential that you have created before, but most likely it's empty and will look really similar to this. And before we create a credential, it is important to configure the consent screen. You can do it by clicking here on the button in case it's not there. Then you can also do it here under OAuth consent screen and then click on Get Started. The first step is to select an application name. As an example, I will take n8n demo. Then you can add here a user support email address. So most likely it will be your email address. After that, we have to set the audience, and here I will use external. Then I will be also able to give access to test users, and then we need to add some contact information. So again, I will add here my email address. And in the final step, we have to agree to the user data policy. So click here on check, then continue, and then on create. That's it for the consent screen. The next step is to add test users under audience, and you can add them here at the bottom. So go to test users, and then I will add here my email address. You can also add here our test users in case you want to work on a workflow with someone else together. And now it's time to create the credential, and we can do it here under clients, and we will need a OAuth2 client credential. So click here on create client, select as a type web application, add here name, so let's say n8n tutorial. Now comes a really important part, which is the authorized redirect unique resource identifier. So you need to add here a redirect URL, and you can find it also in n8n. So for instance, let's say I want to create another credential for Google Sheets. Then I can do it right here by clicking on the dropdown and then create new credential. Or you can also do it if you go to the credentials section in n8n itself. And the redirect URL is right here. So we can copy it, go back to the OAuth client ID and add it right here, and then click on create. And now it is really important to copy this client secret and save it somewhere where it's really safe, because you won't be able to see it again. In my case, I will just copy it because then it's on my clipboard, and I'm going to delete this project after this video anyway. So copy both values, click on OK. And these two values are also the values that we need to add here. So the client ID, which is this one, followed by the client secret, which was this one. And then click on sign in with Google, select here your account. And since the application is still in the testing mode, it's not verified yet. And you will see an information that you should only continue if you know the developer, or in general, if you trust the source. And since I created before, I will trust myself. So I will click on continue. Now you can select the type of permission for this credential. So I will select all because I want to view and manage metadata. And I also want to be able to create new files, delete files, and so forth. So I will continue with this configuration, and that's it. Now the credential is created and we can also test it. But before we can use it, it's important to activate the API before, because otherwise you won't be able to use it and you will get a forbidden error. But I can also quickly show you it. So let's say you have created a credential and you want to test it, and you will see an error similar to this. So I will just add some dummy data here, then click on execute. And then you can see forbidden, perhaps check your credentials. And usually this means that you forgot to activate the API for your project, but it's super simple. I can also show you it. We can just search for a resource. So let's say Google Sheets. And then we have here the Google Sheets API, and we can see it's not enabled. So I just have to click on enable, wait a few seconds, and then we should be able to use this API. But to give you another example for Google Drive, because most likely you will need this as well, it's The same, you just search for the API, click on enable, and that's it. So whenever you're using a node that is in the background using the Google API, just keep in mind that you have to activate it first, and then you will be able to use it in your n8n workflows. So let's go back to the workflow and execute it again. Now we can see as a response, we got the spreadsheet ID, properties, and so forth. So it's working. But let's say you want to get some data from a sheet, or you also want to save some data. Then you will need another node, which is the Google Sheets node. And as an action, we need the get rows. And let me quickly remove this link here and put it this one. I want to get the data from this spreadsheet here, which is credentials demo. Then I can just search here for the document, which is credential demo, and then select the sheet. So sheet 1. And in case you want to add some filters here, then you can also do it. But let's say I want to get the complete data. So click on execute step, and then you will get an array with the row number and also the columns that you have set here. So name and age. And that's basically it. So actually really easy. And if you want to create a credential for Gmail, Google Drive, or for instance also for Google Docs, then it's really similar. You just create a new credential, add your client ID, client secret, click on sign in with Google, select the specific permissions. Don't forget to activate the API and the Google Cloud Console first. And then you should be able to use any API from Google. In case you do have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. And that's it for the video, and we will hear each other in the next video.